Hey everyone! Alright, so welcome to VEDA Day 16, and today I just thought I would talk a little bit about how things are going with me 8 months postpartum. Euan was 8 months on the 3rd of April, and I can't believe that. He's almost 8.5 months now. I might as well just say he's 8.5 months. And yeah, so it's been a while since I've let you know exactly how I'm doing postpartum. You've gotten updates on Euan and whatnot, so yeah, I just thought I'd let you know how I'm doing. So I've kind of broken it down into two categories, emotionally and physically. So yeah, let's get started, and we will start with how I'm doing emotionally 8 months postpartum. So one thing that has sort of plagued me since Euan has been born is I get anxious. I have a lot of anxieties, mostly about other people taking care of him, and to be quite honest, I still have anxieties about that. It is definitely not as bad as it was when he was first born, and it was really bad probably till he was about 4 or 5, maybe even 6 months old. But it's definitely a lot better now. A lot better. I couldn't say that it is completely gone, but it has really gotten a lot better, so much so that I can actually trust people to watch him for me if I need to, or if just people want to watch him, just because they want to see him, that I get a lot less anxious about it. Even, you know, the littlest things of letting my parents take him out for a walk in the stroller, or whatnot. That's something that my mom really wanted to do with me when I was born. But my mom had phlebitis, which is kind of like a swelling in her legs after I was born, and she wasn't able to take me out in the carriage. So she was really looking forward to taking Euan out when he was born, and it was just not something that I was comfortable with. But lately, probably within the last month, I've taken, I think, some really big steps into really kind of forcing myself to be okay and be comfortable with other people watching him. I'm definitely the most comfortable with my parents because I see him every day. But yeah, my parents have started, trying to get healthy and exercise, and so they've been going on daily walks, mid-morning, just before Euan's nap, and I've been letting them take him in the stroller, and it's doing a couple of things. It's great for them to be able to take him out and have some time with him. It also lets me have a shower and do anything that I need to do, and lets me kind of have a break. So I'm really pushing myself to be okay with these things, and I'm doing a lot better. I'm still kind of uneasy about people that don't see him very often, but it is getting better, so I'm thankful for that. Another thing that has happened is I'm a lot more confident in motherhood in general. I sort of trust my instincts a lot more, where I didn't trust any instinct at all in the beginning, and I was constantly asking my mom, what about this, what about that, what do I do here, and what do I do with this, and etc. Just for everything, everyday little things, I would always ask her. And I'm getting a lot better to just trust what I think is right. I know what he wants when he cries and when he's fussy, and because of that, I'm more confident in my decision making when it comes to him and what he needs. So that's something that took a while. I think it's just because, like I said, I was really anxious in the beginning, and so I just didn't trust myself. And with the anxiety going away, I'm really starting to be more comfortable in my decisions for him, so that's really great. Another thing that has definitely improved is, like I said, sort of going along with the anxieties and things that I felt postpartum. With that getting better, I'm also less afraid of him hurting himself or getting sick and germs and things like that. Before, I didn't really like to take him out because I was afraid that he was going to be sick, and having him around other children and having him just around other people in general, because I was so afraid that he was going to get sick, and yeah, so that is a lot better. I try to take him out every day, whether it's out in the stroller with his grandparents, or if it's me having to run some errands and me taking him with me. I really try to get him out, and when people come up to him and want to touch him and whatever, which I think is uncalled for in general, but people still do it. I get a lot less anxious. In fact, I want to say that I don't get anxious about it at all. Like 99% of the time I don't get anxious about people touching him. So that's really great. And also, since he's like now starting to crawl and he's starting to like pull himself up onto things, I'm not kind of like running to be right beside him every time he does that. Like I'm not afraid if he falls and like hurts himself. Obviously, you know, I'm very mindful of it and I would rather him not hurt himself, but I'm not super on edge that he's gonna fall and hurt himself. Like I kind of realize that that is a part of the process with him learning how to do things. And so I really try to like let him do his thing, and you know, he might hurt himself here and there, but I'm really not as uptight, I guess, about it as I once was. So that is all of my emotional kind of things that I can think of off the top of my head. If you have any questions about, you know, emotional things postpartum, please feel free to leave it in the comments below or in a private message, as always. But moving on, the next category is the physical aspect of how I'm doing postpartum. And I really sort of feel like I am, like, getting back to myself. I really feel like myself physically, like before I was pregnant. Pregnancy definitely took a toll on me physically, and it was a while there before I, you know, really started to feel like myself again. I'm not down to my pre-pregnancy weight. The day that I found out that I was pregnant, I was 122. The day I gave birth, I was 164.4, I believe, or 162.4. Anyways, around there, 160 something. And nowadays I sort of vary between around 127 and 130. So like if people were to ask me how much I weigh, which people don't, but if someone was, I would say I weigh like 130 pounds. Which I am actually okay with. My stomach is definitely a lot looser than it was before, but I'm really not concerned about it. I think I'm less concerned about it right now because it's sort of winter, and so the clothes that I wear really kind of hide any kind of floppiness that I'm not happy with. So when summer comes I might feel differently, but as of right now I'm really okay with myself and my weight. And yeah, at the end of this I'll show you a belly shot to let you know like exactly what I kind of look like postpartum, but I'm really feeling really good. As for my cycles, I didn't get a cycle until I was about 4 months postpartum, and when I got it back it was very light, and it wasn't painful at all, and they were long cycles. Like I think my very first cycle was 44 days long or 45 days long. So that is not the norm for me, but I was really happy because, like I said, it was very light and it wasn't painful, and I'm used to having very heavy, very painful periods, and so I was like, oh, maybe this is how it'll be from now on. That's not the case. I had, I think, 2 or 3 cycles that were on the longer-ish side, and like I said, light and not painful, but then I think 2 cycles ago I had a very heavy cycle and it was very painful, and it was my usual, I think that one was 28 days, and then the 2 subsequent cycles that I've had, they've been again heavy, painful, and my regular, I think one of them was 27 days and the other one was 26 days, which is my normal. I sort of don't ovulate on the same day every month. I usually ovulate anywhere between cycle day, 11 and 14, and so having a cycle length at around 26 to 28 days is completely normal for me. Having a heavy period is normal. Having a painful period is normal for me. So I was so disappointed when my usual cycle came back. I was really hoping that it would continue to be light and non-painful, but that's not the case. I would consider myself to be back to normal as far as my cycle is concerned, so that kind of sucks, but oh well. As far as my hair loss is concerned, probably at about 11 or 12 weeks postpartum, I really started losing my hair. It was coming out in huge clumps, especially when I'd be in the shower. If I like ran my hand through my hair, I mean, it would just be a big ball of hair. And actually, I got my hair cut. It was quite long. It was down like past my boob. And I got it cut because just so much was coming out and it was really kind of clogging my drain. And I didn't want to cut it super short, but I did cut some off so that it didn't feel like it was so much in the drain. But that has subsided substantially, actually. I still have some hair loss, but it's really not bad. I don't have any bald patches or anything. If you were to feel my hair, like, it feels normal, but it's just, yeah, there's a lot coming out. Other than that, I don't really notice too much difference with my hair, except maybe like my baby hairs. I got a lot of baby hairs when I was pregnant, and they kind of would stick straight up. That doesn't really happen anymore, except right here in the front. I have a lot of little baby hairs, and I'm not actually sure if they're baby hairs or if they're like hair that's broken off. But in any event, I kind of have to spray them down because there's quite a lot. But yeah, other than that, the hair loss has really subsided, so that's great. My drain is very happy. And my last kind of physical thing that has happened is something that I actually wasn't expecting at all and didn't hear people talk about, and I find this to be an incredibly weird physical whatever from pregnancy and postpartum. So when you're pregnant, at least for me, at the very end of my pregnancy, my feet swelled quite a bit. Which is normal. I wouldn't say that they swelled any more or whatever than normal, but they did swell. But when I was in the hospital, after I had the baby, after I had Euan, they, had me hooked up to an IV, and I was getting a lot of fluids and things like that, and so my feet ballooned to like twice the size that they ever were when I was pregnant. And they stayed swollen for probably, like, I want to say a week of like just really, really swollen feet. And from all of the fluids that they pumped into me while I was in the hospital after I gave birth. And because they were so swollen, this is kind of gross, I guess, kind of gross. I find feet gross, so that's why I think this is gross anyway. Because they were so swollen, what actually happened was it caused my toenails to curl in from like the pressure. And so I have to be very careful about how I cut my toenails now, because if I cut them too short, then because they curl in, I'm going to have an incredibly painful ingrown toenail. And so that is something that I've been dealing with. And before I kind of realized what had happened, I would just cut my toenails short because I hate toenails. So I would just cut them as per usual, and then they would grow back so painful and dig right in because, like I said, they on the side they like just curled right in because my feet were so swollen. So that is a really, really weird postpartum thing that I had to deal with, but nonetheless, it is something that I had to deal with. So have any of you had that happen to them? I think it's super weird, and I've never heard of anybody else having it happen to them. But like, my toenails were completely normal before, and then after this, yeah, I've been having a hard time with them. Now it's just like my big toe and my second toe on both feet, and the other 3 are fine. But right after I gave birth, all 10 of my toes curled right in. So please let me know if that's happened to you so I don't feel so weird. Yeah. Alright, so that is my 8-month postpartum update. As always, if you have any questions, you can leave them below, or you can send me a private message. But yeah, let's just go and have a look at my postpartum belly. Alright, so this is my 8-month postpartum belly. Definitely not flat, and it's pretty squishy. You've busted me. I have a nice top on, but I have my sweats on the bottom. You can sort of still see the line that I had. Barely. It's pretty well gone now. But yeah, so that's my belly. I don't really care, to be honest, if it's flabby or whatnot, because it's just like, well, there was a baby in there, you know? So it's gonna take some work to get it off, and to be quite honest, I haven't done anything to try and get it flat, so I'm okay with where I am right now, and when I want it to be super flat, then I will work at it, but for now, I'm totally fine with what it is. So yeah, so that's everything, and I will see you tomorrow. Alright, bye.